Shalom. Brothers united in
Christ.
Back at you with these words, the Bible.
Shalom, brothers united in Christ, back at you with more of this word. That's the Bible. Today we're going to talk about another holiday, New Year's. Everybody's getting ready for their New Year's party. It's about to be the changing of a year, 2016. Everybody's getting ready and setting themselves goals for them, for themselves for this new year that's coming up. But let's bring out the fact that it's in no fact a new year actually. According to the Most High, it's not a new year. Nothing can be new if everything is dead. The trees are not blossomed, the flowers are not blossomed. How is it new? So let's bring it out. Read it.
Genesis 1:14. And the Most High said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years.
Good, stop right there. So the Most High gave us lights. He gave us two great lights. The Most High gave us lights to decide the seasons and the signs and the days and the years. He gave us these things. He gave us the sun and he gave us the moon, right? Go to Ecclesiastes 43. This was the important factor with the moon. This was what the moon was designed to do. Read it.
Ecclesiastes 43:6, who brought his kings to destruction. This is excuse me.
Ecclesiastes 43:6.
Ecclesiastes 43:6, he made the moon also to serve in her season,
right,
for a declaration of times and a sign of the world.
So the Most High made the moon to serve in its season, for a declaration of times to serve in the world, right? Continue.
From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection.
So the moon decides the feasts of the Most High, and one of the feasts in the Most High that is in the Bible is the Passover. And today it's still recognized in the world. Some call it the Lord's Supper, some call it the Passover, but another holiday, another pagan holiday that is surrounded around the Passover is what? Easter, right? And they usually have this around what time? Around April, March area, right? Around that time. So we understand that the moon decides the feast. Go to Exodus 12 for me. So if Easter is around the Passover, and we know this about the Passover, read it for me. 1. 12:1.
Exodus 12:1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron and the land of Egypt,
right,
saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
Right, so the Most High is saying that this month shall be the beginning of months, the first of the year. This was the first month of the year, a new year, when the Israelites came out of Egypt, right? Drop down to 11 for me.
Exodus 12:11. And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand.
Right.
And ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover.
Right.
For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt,
right,
both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord.
So the Passover was instituted in the first month of the year. This was when the Passover was instituted. And we know that what? That the moon decides the feast, the moon decides the times and the seasons of the new year, correct? So why is it that we are honoring January 1st as the first day of the new year, but what? But Easter, or but the Passover, but the Lord's Supper is towards late March, early April? Think about that for a second, right? We keep Easter, but we keep the new year 2, 3, 4 months before Easter. But the Easter is around Passover, and the Passover is in the first month of the year. Let's think about that. So now we're not keeping the ways of the Most High. We're not honoring his holy days, and we're not honoring the times that he set for us. We're not using the ordinances that the Most High gave us to decide seasons and signs and times of the year and for days and for months. We're not using these things. We're setting up our own ways. Now, we follow the Greco-Roman calendar and say that January 1st is the new year. That the calendar has 365 days, or every 4 years, 366 days. But a full circle is how many degrees? 360. That's what a full circle is. So now we're adding on extra days, and we're changing the ordinances of the Most High. And the Most High hates that. He despises that. Go to Isaiah 1 and 14 for me. So now we're not honoring what the Most High gave us to decide the times, and we're creating different times. And now we have daylight saving and all these other different ordinances, right? Read it for me.
Isaiah 1 and 14. Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hated.
Right?
They are a trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them.
Let's read that again. Read it again for me.
Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hated.
So the Most High said, your new moons and your appointed feasts, the feast that your predestined days, your predestined celebrations, like Christmas, like New Year's, like the 4th of July, like all these different holidays and feast days, the Most High said that he hates those. He hates the new moons that we set up, right? Read it again.
Your new moons and your appointed feast, my soul hated.
Right.
They are a trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them.
Right.
And when ye spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes.
Let's stop right there. So the Most High said he's weary to bear them. He's getting tired. He's getting tired of people keep celebrating Christmas. People keep celebrating New Year's. The Most High is getting tired of that. He said he hates our new moons and that he hates our appointed feasts. And go to Matthew 16, 1 through 4. But yet we keep these things, you know. We honor January 1st as the new year, when everything is dead. When in this season everything is dead, but towards April, March area, times are starting to, you know, become lively again, you know. Things are starting to feel good. You start to feel good around late March, early April, right? Read it for me.
Matthew 16 and 1. The Pharisees also with the seducers came and tempted, desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven.
Right.
He answered and said unto them, When it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather.
Right.
For the sky is red.
Right.
And in the morning it will be foul weather today. For the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times?
So we can discern the faces of the sky. We can tell, you know, when it's 12 a.m., when it's 1 p.m., when it's, you know, this and that. But we can't discern the signs of the times, the things that the Most High set up and the things that the Most High said he's going to do, because he gave us signs of when he's going to revisit the world that he created. He gave us signs. Give me Jonah 3, 1 through 5, right? He gave us time. So we can discern when it's a new year, you know, or around Easter time or whatever these things are, but we can't discern the signs of the time. Everybody is waiting for that next year, especially the youth. They can't wait until they get older and older and older. They can wait until they get 18, until they get 20, until they get 21. But the fact of the matter is, one thing that was said about time, it doesn't stop for anybody. Time does not stop. Time does not wait for anybody. Time does not wait. And the time of the Most High is coming closer and closer. It's nearer and nearer, right? Read it for me.
Jonah 3 and 1. And the word of the Lord came unto Jonah the second time, saying, Arise, go unto Nineveh, that great city, and preach unto it, the preacher that I bid thee. So Jonah arose and went unto
Drop
Nineveh.
down to 4.
Nineveh.
Verse 4. And Jonah began to enter into the cities a day's journey. And he cried and said, Yet 40 days and Nineveh shall be overthrown.
So, the Most High gave them the time. 40 days. This great city is going to be overthrown. The Most High didn't give us the time that this great city, America, is going to be overthrown yet. He did give us this time. He said in 2 days. Read it for me. Go to Hosea 6, 1 through 2. But first, go there and then go to 2 Peter 3 and 8. He gave that time, saying in 40 days I'm going to overthrow this great city. But the thing about that great city, they 6, 1 and 2. The thing about that great city, the people in that city, they humbled themselves, right? They turned to the Most High. Read it for me.
Hosea 6 and 1. Come and let us return unto the Lord. For he hath torn, and he will heal us. He hath smitten, and he will bind us up. After 2 days will he revive us. And the third day he will raise us up.
So, go ahead.
And we shall live in his sight.
So, after 2 days, he will revive us. And in the third day, he will raise us up. Read it for me.
2 Peter 3 and 8. But, beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that the one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day.
So, 1 day with the Most High is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as a day. And the Most High said that he was going to revive us in 2 days and raise us up in the third day. We are in the third day. Again, time does not wait. Time does not stop. So every year that gets added on, the day of the Most High is getting closer and closer and closer. That great and dreadful day is getting closer and closer and closer. Every year, every new year, right? Read it for me. Read 2nd Ezra for me. Read it.
2nd Esdras 9 and 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the eyes will begin to visit the world which he made.
Right, continue.
Therefore,
Drop down to 4.
verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning, and an end, and the end is manifest.
The end is manifest. We now have this book, and the Most High prophesied us and told us the things that's going to happen in the last days. Read it for me. Continue.
Verse 6, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs.
And endings, again, in the last days as well, they have effects and signs. We are witnessing these signs today that the Most High set forth. Right? Again, every new year, every year, every year, every year, every day, every month, it's getting closer and closer to the day of the Most High. Now's the time. Read it for me.
Romans 13 and 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe.
So, now is the time that it is high time to awake out of sleep, to kick off the darkness, kick off the wickedness, to awake unto light, to awake unto Christ, because our salvation is what? Nearer than what we believe. Some of us may believe that the Most High might come back in 50 years. Some of us might believe that the Most High might come back in 100 years. But as the scripture says, it's nearer than what we believe. Christ can come back tomorrow. Christ can come back January 1st. Christ can come back in a week, right? Can you read that again for me?
Romans 13 and 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe.
And with that, brothers,